Hey guys, and welcome to another Wrasslin Wednesdays. Now, if you're catching this on YouTube and you are not on therealddp.com, you're only going to get to see this interview. But if you want to see what I'm talking about, the videos, the pictures, whatever, then you need to subscribe or go to www capital D A capital REAL capital DDP.com, and then you can see what I'm about to talk about. Okay, we are starting back. Well, let's see, I've already showed you the first things I've ever done in professional wrestling, how I got brought in 2 weeks ago, and then I showed you my demo reel that actually got me to the AWA. So that's where I'm going to pick it up today. And my buddy Dylan did an amazing job editing a bunch of little interviews that I did, pieces of them. He put together some of my in-ring entrances, and they're pretty crazy. Baby, baby, baby. I said baby a lot back then, and it was a lot of fun. But understand, as you're watching this character with all these crazy clothes that he wore, this rock and roll and flamboyant stuff, I wore all that shit before there ever was a Diamond Dallas Page. I had all those clothes in the '80s, and the hair, forget about that, boy. What I wouldn't do to get that hair back again. Of course, I probably wouldn't. I don't think I'd wear it the same though. Yeah, I really don't. But it was a lot of fun, and some of the other backstories behind this was my first day coming into the AWA. First of all, I told you how I got the call. I get there, and I bring in one of the Diamond Dolls, and you'll see her. She actually comes in right. I think it's the second clip after Colonel De Beers. She comes walking in and gets between Pat and Paul. Her name was Leanne, and she was scared to death. It was pretty funny looking back at it. Good girl. And she met me in Vegas, and I went over to go hook up with actually Vern Gagne, because he had brought me in, and I'll never forget it because I wore cowboy boots back then, jeans, and the cowboy boots, like 2.5 inch heels, so it makes me almost 6'7", So I come walking in, and Gagne is like leaning over, writing something as I come walking up, and I go, "Hello, Vern Gagne, Dallas Page," and Shawnee goes, "Damn!" And Vern was about 6'1". I'm like 6'7", my cowboy boots on. He goes, "You got to be the biggest manager ever." And that was just my, they brought me in to do a showcase. I actually had to pay my own way in, and they were going to put me with Bad Company. And obviously it worked. One of the other funny things that happened when I first got there, if you're at a WCW or a WWE or even TNA, you got huge locker rooms, and it's the show. At the AWA, where they would meet with the boys, because back then they would put the heels in one locker room and the baby faces in another. They brought us in to a hotel room at the Showboat Arena. It's a little dumpy casino that was way off the strip, and one of the original casinos that was there, and they brought us all into this little room. I got little double beds in it, and I'll never forget walking in there with all those guys, and Vern introduced me, because I was a new guy, as Pat and Paul's manager, and Shawn Michaels. Now he's a kid then, right? Shawn Michaels, this is 1988, so 22 years ago. Shawn Michaels is laying back on the bed, and his elbows are propped up, and he goes, "Wait a second, Vern, shouldn't Pat be managing Diamond?" Who knew what would happen over the next 15 years? But it was pretty wild. Also, what you see out there, those interviews and what I did, I only actually worked once a month for the AWA, and I went on one road tour. I worked about 1 year and 3 months, so that means I actually worked 18 days. Now, all those stuff you see, all these matches, that if you watch the classic AWA, I should say classic ESPN and the AWA matches, that was all filmed on probably about 13 different times, because 2 of them were just house shows. But it was an amazing ride, and figuring stuff out as I went there. And I'm going to actually pull in a quote at the end of how Diamond Dallas Page actually got there and made an impact where people were actually talking about him. A lot of it had to do with the girls and the crazy clothes with the rap. But I'm going to say a quote at the end of this that's going to bring that full circle of how I was able to do that. Also want to bring you up to speed on, you might have seen all over the internet, people talking about me doing an audition reel for Oprah. Well, that again is here on therealddp.com, DAREALDDP.com. If you want to vote for me, I'd really appreciate you coming by the site and clicking on the Oprah link. And if you want to leave a comment, great. You can vote once a day. I guess some people say you can vote 10 times, 100 times a day, but if someone came by, I know I'm not trying to get those fake votes. If you dig it and you vote for it, I'd appreciate it. If you put it on your Facebook, I'd really appreciate it. If you send it to your friends, I'd really appreciate it. My goal is to get on the show. I always talk about setting goals. My goal right now is not to win the program because I'm not even on it. My goal is to get an interview first by showing how many votes I brought in, and I think the reel speaks for itself. Unless they don't want a professional wrestler, former professional wrestler at all on the show, I would hope I would at least get an interview. And then once I get that interview, my goal is to get on the show. And then once I get on the show, then I'll take it to there. But, the visionary, the big fantasy goal, like would have been as a professional wrestler, would have been to become a world champion. That's a blip. It's out there. And, I threw it out there way back when I first started wrestling, but I didn't really believe it yet. So same thing with this. The blip is to actually win the show. That's the ultimate goal. But the reality goal, which is achievable, is having enough votes to get the interview, to sit down and let people see who I really am. And only you can help me make that happen. So if you send it out to your friends, and ask them to send it out to their friends, it would be great. The wrestling community is one of the strongest communities on the planet. So I appreciate any help you can give me. And I'm calling the show called Own Your Life. And it's all about me helping, different people that I do every day. I have a couple other announcements. My website, teamyrg.com, www, and I'll have that up there too, teamyrg.com. You can go there and become part of my own social network, but it's more of a inspirational support group to help people achieve their goals with YRG, but it deals with so much more than YRG as well. So maybe you want to go by and check that out. And last, on Thursdays, I have a new thing called, a lot of stuff happened since we last talked. I have a new show called the YRG Radio Roundtable, and you can get there. All these links will be up on therealddp.com, but you can get there by going to www.yrgradio.com. I do the show every Thursday night. We do it from 9 o'clock East Coast time till around 10:30. I'm on there. My partner, the Yoga Doc's on there. We bring in different members from Team YRG, and you can be on there. You can come on by and be a part of the discussion of the roundtable. We're talking about health and wellness and inspiration and nutrition, and just about any question that you want answered, we'll answer it if we know the answer. If we don't know the answer, we're going to tell you that. So that's all the stuff I got going right now. Appreciate you coming in, being a part of my YouTube organization of people who subscribe to my YouTube. But where you really want to subscribe is to the DAREALDDP.com, because then you're going to get all this information, and you only get it when I send it out. So it's like one blast of it, and you got it. So I want to thank you guys for all the support you've been giving me as far as the Oprah contest. That's really big to me right now. And the thing I was starting to tell you at the beginning of this blog, where how did Diamond Dallas Page walk in there with all this, this look and this confidence, and because I never did it before. I never did what I was doing. I mean, there's the footage there with that girl I was telling you about walks in between Pat and Paul. That's my first day. How did I get there? And it was a quote I heard an old preacher say, and it became part of my mantra. The quickest way to get there is to act like you've already been there. And then, of course, comes out to putting the work into it to make it all a reality. All right, guys, That's all I got for you. It's been your pleasure. See ya. Bang! Monkeys. Vote for me on Oprah!